Hi everyone, it's Pure Price Action here, and it's the end of day update on 28th July and the outlook for tomorrow, 29th July. So as always, kicking off with S&P. What happened today? Well, I had a bad feeling that price wasn't going to move higher today, when essentially overnight we had this pump up and then a pullback, and that didn't look too good. Meant we didn't really have too much follow through, and it ended up being pretty much back in range from Friday. And S&P's held up in there. So I think there is still, it didn't quite test the bottom of the range here down at 3200 flat, which is about 3190, 92 on ES. So there's still possibility of a test of this downside, but I think essentially that, we've defined the range, we know where we are, we've got big earnings coming up this week. That's very much the theme for the days ahead, certainly the next 24 hours. And we should see some price action kicking around in this range. Maybe drop. I don't know if it'll drop or not, but I do expect to see a retest of this area here, 32.35 up until 32.40. And if we breach that, then obviously a retest of this area here. So very much a retest of the highs, I think, in this range is the thing to look out for, and that's generally the theme also for Dow and Nasdaq. So let's take a look at the Dow. Slightly weaker than S&P. It did actually come down to the bottom of the range here, but it held. It held, and I think it will also now make a turn possibly and head back to the other side of the range. So 26,500s, 26,550. If it breaks that, then look for 26,700 area. I think it's pretty much done at the bottom here. Maybe a little push lower, but essentially I think I'd like to see it now turn and go back up, certainly into 26,500s. Might happen overnight, but we'll see. I don't expect any major breaks up or down ahead of the major earnings that are coming up in the next few days. Similarly for Nasdaq, it held up relatively better than the other indices, and yesterday, in yesterday's update, I mentioned it was looking sort of stronger than the other indices, and I still maintain that it looks stronger than the other indices. I think it's more likely to come back up to 10,700s in the next couple of sessions. So that would essentially put it around this area here. So this is the area back in which I'm looking for it to come up to. Turning to DAX. European indices, well, DAX in particular, didn't look very strong today at all. It made a new low, so it broke slightly below that the range we had defined yesterday. So this was the range I was looking at. This morning I posted that I'm looking for basically a range day, and I had the sell there, and then looking for the next upside here somewhere. We got that test, it bounced, but look, it's just failed. It's just made a U-turn back down to the bottom end of this, so it's going to be an interesting one to watch. If I had to pick one for a breakdown, it'll probably be DAX this week. I think it's just struggling to get bid on higher prices, so I think it's one to look out for sure. What am I expecting for tomorrow? Well, I think if today's range, again, it was a balanced day, and this is a range again to watch out for tomorrow. So I think we'll kick around in this range. If it breaks up on the upside, I think we're looking at a retest of 12,900. If it goes to the downside, I think it'll breach 12,700 and come down to 650, 680 sort of area, which will place it pretty much down here somewhere. My buttons aren't working. That's not great. There we go. So yeah, this is what my favored view would be on DAX. I think if it breaks down tomorrow, push down to 12,700, but a lot depends on where we open up tomorrow. I think I'm looking at a lower end here. So if we open up below 12.8, I might start shorting tomorrow and look for a drop down to below 12.7, 12,650 area. And finally on FTSE, again, FTSE didn't look too bad compared to the others. I mean, there's a lot of trade up here. a lot of trade up here, and I think that area will get tested again, 61.30. Good chance it might break and head back up to here, 61.60. I think currency land's having a big impact on this, so it might go hand in hand with a drop down in cable, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. So I'd like to see price retest this area. If it breaks, if it goes up here and breaks up here, I'll buy a retest, looking for that. Again, if we open up below this area tomorrow, I would sell that and look for selling pressure to take this back down to below 60.80 tomorrow. And that is it. That's my plan for tomorrow. Hope it's helpful. A lot of this action happens overnight these days apparently, so if anyone wants to stay up and watch, please do. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys back at work tomorrow. Have a good evening.